Today on the Better Youth Ministry channel, we're talking programs. How do you plan a program that makes students say, wow? Now, if this is your first time watching, I'm glad you're checking this out. I'm Trevor Hamaker. I've been working in youth ministry for over a decade. Some of that time was at small traditional churches. Some of it's been at large contemporary churches. That's where I'm at now. But let's be honest, here's what's important to you. Every youth ministry I've worked with has tripled in attendance. So if you're tired of doing the same things over and over and getting the same results every week, you're in the right place because I can teach you how to do ministry better. So here we go. Let's get to work. 3 principles for planning a program that makes students say, wow. And this is so important because you want your students to walk out when your program ends and say, wow, I'm glad I came today. There are a lot of other things that students could be doing with their time, so you want them to feel good about their decision to spend their time with you. But that does not happen by accident. It's something that you have to plan for. Now, on their own, each of these principles that I'm going to share will make your program better. But when you combine all 3, that's when your students are going to start saying, wow. That's when they're going to start inviting friends. That's when your ministry will start to gain momentum. So the first principle is to start early. Don't wait until Monday morning to think about Wednesday night. And the easiest way to get ahead is to create a teaching calendar for the next 3 months. There's no need to get in depth with this. Just write down the dates for the next 12 times you're meeting. And then next to each of those dates, jot down the topics, themes, and some possible titles you might use for what you're teaching. And then I would take one more step. This step is the secret sauce. You're going to create folders on your computer for each of those dates. You could use Evernote for this too, if that's your thing. And when you create those folders, you're ready to start stocking things up for when those dates come. As you're surfing the internet or listening to the radio, or you come across something that fits as a teaching illustration, you've got somewhere to keep it now. You can also do this with games or videos that you come across. This actually happened for me just recently. I had an empty folder for Sunday, July 26th. And it was still a few weeks away, so I wasn't worried yet because, that's how it goes. When you plan ahead, you get a lot less stressed. But I saw someone's post on Facebook about National Hot Dog Day coming up on July 23rd. I Googled it, and it turns out that the National Hot Dog Eating Championship is held on National Hot Dog Day. So I wrote all of that down, saved it in my folder, and I knew that was the direction that I wanted to go with a game that was coming up. But I knew I didn't have any specifics worked out just yet, but that was okay. And then I followed up to see who won the hot dog eating championship. I saw it was a guy named Matt Stoney. So I Googled him and came across a link to a video he'd posted on YouTube where he eats as many Twinkies as he can in 60 seconds. This is youth ministry gold, people. So I saved the video and I decided that we would do a Twinkie eating contest that Sunday. Now, you might not want to do a Twinkie eating contest, but I hope that you see how this works. When you start early, you're able to find tons of great ideas that you just won't have time to find when you start to plan at the last minute. I already have something amazing saved for next Valentine's Day that's just sitting in my folders waiting to be used. That's what happens when you start early. Now, the second principle to keep in mind when you're planning your program is to make it fun. So helping students have fun, I totally believe this. Helping students have fun is one of your highest priorities as a youth pastor. And here's the best part. Having fun isn't limited to just playing games. Get creative. Think of ways to help students laugh and have a good time. One year over the summer, we actually set up a bubble blower just outside the door where students came into the building. They loved it because who doesn't love bubbles? Think of some ways to take your students by surprise. So what if you switch your service around? You could start with a message and end with singing instead of how you normally do it. You could do a planned interruption with a crazy walk-on character who comes out and tells everyone about upcoming events. You could show a Trip and Tyler video. Those guys are hilarious. Here's the deal. Fun helps build trust, relationships, and engagement with students. And you need those things when it comes time for your message. If you want students to leave saying, wow, I'm glad I came, you have to get creative and think of some ways to help them laugh and have a good time in your program. Now here's a third principle for you. Mind the gaps. Gaps are those dead spots that happen during the transitions in your program. So as you put together your plan, be aware of the gaps. It's not cool when the countdown timer gets to 0 and no one's on the stage. You don't want to experience the awkward silence that happens when the game is over and the band is still trying to make its way onto the stage. It's called awkward for a reason. It's uncomfortable. So help the person who runs your videos and slides to understand how important it is to get those transitions right. And while you're at it, don't forget about what happens right after the service ends either. I've seen services end while the sound guy fumbles through iTunes trying to find the right playlist because he wasn't even paying attention. Again, the silence is just awkward. Those dead spots have the potential to kill whatever momentum you've created in your program so far. So take some time and really think through those moments of transition when you're planning your service. Now, if you think about it, these 3 principles are really all about preparation. Students can tell when you've prepared and when you haven't. They'll know if you just get up and try to wing it. And they won't be saying, wow. They'll probably say, I don't really feel like coming back. And they won't want to come back unless their parents make them. When you prepare, it shows you care. When students can see you've prepared for them, then they're more likely to believe that you care about them. And when they believe that you care about them, they're more likely to listen to what you tell them. And that's why this is so important. Planning programs that make students say wow isn't an optional add-on to an otherwise good youth ministry. It's an important part of what makes a youth ministry good in the first place. So now it's your turn. Leave a comment. What are you doing to make students say wow? And hey, while you're thinking about it, take a second, follow us on Twitter at Better Youth Men. Check us out online at betteryouthministry.com. And we'll see you next time on the Better Youth Ministry channel.